I love
Hmm.
the approach of like, rather than trying to look at the whole castle that you're trying to build or whatever, look at like how can you lay, kind of like Will Smith says, like brick by brick. And if you lay each brick as good as you can lay that brick, then eventually one day you're going to have the castle or the house, the thing that you're building, which is your life. Um, and it's interesting
Absolutely.
too. Like I almost look at my life and like, and maybe you've had a similar thing like this happen in your life, but when I look back at my life 5 years ago, I'm like, there's no way you could tell me that I was doing what I'm doing today. Because it's like so much can happen in 5 years. And I think, especially when you're in a place of your life where you're trying to figure out your life, it's like there's so many changes, there's so many things that, may get switched up that in 5 years, it really is hard to plan for like, what's my life going to look like? But if you can focus on the day in and the day out, I think that's such a beautiful perspective on that.
Yes. And for me, for example, I hate the concept of New Year's resolutions. I'm like, who came up with that? It's
Yeah.
like, it doesn't make any sense to me that you're going to set some goals that you're going to achieve in a year. It just doesn't make any sense. And there is a
Mm,
reason why no one gets to accomplish them.
yeah.
And people, I have friends who they take these New Year resolutions goals so seriously. They go and buy stationery for it, mood boards,
Yeah.
they spend, and I'm like, you walk into their apartments, New York City apartments are small. So you
Yeah.
walk into their apartments and there you see the big board and all these things. And I'm like, what is this? It's like my New Year resolutions. And then you start, coming in 6 months, whatever, later, nothing has changed.
Yeah.
It's all the same, but they take it seriously every single day, every single year. And I'm like, why don't you like break it down and focus on these things like on a weekly basis?
Right.
That way you have to you're going to make sure that you actually accomplish some of them, or you are going to realize these are impossible. I'm never going to do this, and then just drop them off the list.
Yeah.
For me, I tend to have a little anxiety, and maybe that's the reason why I don't set myself these long-term goals, because I get just anxious thinking about them.
Hmm.
So instead of that, instead of thinking about it, I just start doing whatever it is, that thing at the end of the day. And I'm a big calendar person. So I
Yeah, me too.
just, whatever I have to do, I have a calendar. Every week, fill. And then I just go like, okay, it's going to be, this is what I'm going to do today. And it's almost like by the hour I make sure that it's not. And then if I see it's no way that I can accomplish the next task in the next hour, I just go into the calendar and move it for the next day.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's not there like hunting me, looking
Right.
at me.
Yeah. And it's just like, again, breaking it down to the small little things, because when you add those up, they get you to the big thing. And I think with like New Year's goals, it's such a good point. It's like, if we set a goal once a year and then we have 365 days to waver off, and like, like it makes so much sense that if you set a goal once a year for a year and you never come back and really regularly check in on that, like you're set up for failure, versus I think like one thing I was taught is it's like, if instead of once a year, you look at where you're at in your life or with this goal, and you kind of repivot or refocus on like, where do I want to go? Where am I? Let me check in and see if I'm on track. Rather than doing it once a year, it's like, imagine you even did that once a month. And now you take what most people do once a year, and once a month, you kind of give yourself an opportunity to say like, where am I? Am I where I want to be? Am I on track? And it's like, if you break it down even further, let's say you do it once a week. Well, now you have 52 times where you say, am I on track? Am I where I want to be? Am I moving in the right direction? And it's like, it allows you, by breaking it down. I mean, even if you go to the days, right? It's like now you have 365 times you're checking in, rather than what most people do, which is just once a year.